was a great guy. And I hate when I see people write bad things about him because they just don't know him.
Brian, you're probably closer to him than anybody. Did Terry change any during that time, or did he stay that same humble Terry Bollea that you and I and Jimmy knew at the early stages?
Yes, he stayed humble. Jimmy worked kind of for him and with him, whereas I was always just a friend. He never
You're
loaned me a
for
nickel. I never asked him for a nickel. I'm sure he would have given me anything, but he stayed humble. I mean, just recently, before he was in the hospital, he was asking about Jim Seagraves, a guy up in whose ranch we go to, telling me how nice he was, and he wanted to go back up shooting again, and for me to arrange a time, he'd let me know, and he wanted to go back up there and shoot targets, and he was always humble. I don't ever remember him being mean to anybody unless he was a heel,
Yeah,
and
go ahead. I'm sorry. I remember those days too. You and I were traveling with him a lot because we were Tampa boys and together all the time. And everywhere he went, as the fame was creeping up, his ego to me never ever wavered, and being that old Port Tampa boy, he was always just down to earth. And I think Ruth and what was his
Pete,
dad,
Pete,
Pete, did a tremendous job. And speaking of Ruth, it's kind of funny, John. In the beginning, when Terry was taking bookings, Ruth wasn't real wild about him getting into the business. She really wasn't, and so I and Brian, you're going to have to help me with names here. So I would call Terry's home, and Terry, when he wasn't out late at night playing in the rock and roll band, he was at the gym working out because he had that body back when he was young like that too, and it's huge. And so I would give Ruth the dates. I said, make sure he's there. And Ruth would never pass the dates along because she didn't want him getting beat up all the time. So there was that girl, that the neighbor that worked at the other place. I can't remember her name, but she plays a vital role in Terry's deal. So Jack and I ran into her, and she said, "Hey, Terry's not getting bookings. He's getting really depressed, thinking he made the wrong decision." I said, "I'm giving Ruth the booking because I could never get a hold of Terry. Back then there were no cell phones, so I just had to call his home phone, as everybody knows." So she said, "Well, in the future, call me, and I'll make sure Terry gets the dates." So that's really how Terry started getting that knowledge of when he was booked, is not through his mother, because Ruth did not want him in the business getting beat up every night, and so she certainly changed her attitude a few years later. But that just comes some of the struggles that Terry had breaking into business there. So I always thought that was really unique that we had to go through a third party to get Terry Bolleh's bookings.
yeah, and Ruth became his biggest cheerleader later.
Yeah,
But you're right,
yeah.
Gerald. She didn't want him at first, and we went through a lot at the beginning. I mean, his first real love was a girl named Donna, so that was a interesting ordeal. But one of the things that I remember that Terry and I got, it was very emotional, was when his brother Alan died. And we were in LA. I met Alan. Actually, Terry and I still have my Harley Davidson that Willie G. Davidson sold to Terry and I. We were sitting, it was the first year of Saturday Night Main Event. And Terry says, hey, Brian, come here. I want you to meet somebody. Hey, this is Willie G. Davidson of Harley Davidson. I said, oh, nice to meet you. And anyway, Willie G. said, hey, this is 1987. Hey, the new 87 Softail Customs are coming out. Do you guys, if you guys want one, I'll give it to you for cost. Terry goes, heck yeah, I'll take one. And I said, like I always drove a rice grinder, a used one. I didn't have love.
Yeah, even
What
with
does
the
that cost?
discount, yeah, even with the discount, you didn't have it, right?
Well, I wound up we they retailed for 10,995. Then the dealer paid 75 $7,599. I have this all on paper, shipped to Hulk Hogan, and they charged us. Arlen Ness customized them, and they charged us $4,589 and shipped them to us right here in Tampa. But that's Terry was just always thinking about everybody around him. I mean, and others, anybody that would come up to him. He was a great guy, and I hate when I see people write bad things about him because they just don't know him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He